Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? A gracious good morning to you, good people. It's your girl KB. You know what I do, and you know why I do it. It is Monday morning. It is October 27th, and let me see what time it is. I love to put a timestamp on everything so I can recall. It's 3:15. My hair is having do-rag difficulties, so I have my soft bristle brush, and I'm trying to, deal with the cowlicks. My hair is full of cowlicks, so my waves will never be 360. You can see this swirl right here. There's a swirl right here, and I guess this is perpetual baby hair in this spot. Yeah, this has always been the hairline right here. I wear a lot of baseball caps too, so that could be what's keeping it thin. But at 60 plus, you shouldn't have baby hair. Maybe I'll call it geriatric thinning. How about that? Now I wanted to share with you a little bit about the family breakfast this past Saturday. In that, I shared that my family is multiracial. My siblings and I are black. Ancestry is black, and it's from Nigeria. We have Irish, Welsh Irish, and Native. And the Native is Monacan. Monacans are an offshoot of Lakota and Sioux. So, West Africa, Nigeria, Scots-Irish, and Indigenous. That is me, my sister, and my brother. Parents. Mom is the exact same. Father, don't know his lineage because there's so many half siblings that it's difficult to trace. Okay, I'm working on that. And that side of the family is very, 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 very unique. Like I said, most of these siblings are half. Multiple family members, all different moms. So, and I don't think there's a lot of history in the census about that family either. So I'm guessing they're backwoods Southern, where records were scarce. Anywho, nephew, first generation nephew, grown nephew, is part Filipino. And he was sharing with my sister that he wants to learn how we were raised because he's just never really been in touch with the black side of the family because of his relationship with my brother. It's not my sister's kid, it's my brother's kid. So, that warmed my heart because, I am very, very seriously pro-black in everything that and the majority of my movements, let me put it like that. And I always have been, which has caused some conflict with several members of my family. Ask me if I care. Anywho, I thought about that, and I was sharing with my sister. The other day, I don't know what triggered this thought. But it was a nagging thought. I grew up in a house with horrific domestic violence, horrific. My father was an abusive alcoholic, and I thought about this the other day. Now, here I am several decades later, and it still was very fresh. As a kid, I remember being locked in a room, hearing my father beat my mother in another room, and just a sense of helplessness. And I know we weren't the only kids that was raised in that environment. We've normalized that sickness. We've normalized that disease. And it took that conversation with my sister to realize, that it wasn't unique to us. But, me being a fighter, me being confrontational, and I think that's another thing that triggered this nagging need now to speak on it. My sister was identifying, how she viewed my brother and myself, who are the two older siblings. And we both share the opinion that my brother is just a straight up punk. He picks on people that he knows he can beat, or he knows he has some kind of advantage over, or he thinks he has some kind of advantage over. And she defined him as passive aggressive. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty much passive aggressive, narcissistic, sociopathic at times. Kind of like my father. Now, he decried, interactions with my father. He did not like my father, but he is so much like my father and beyond. So it's like, yeah, that's pretty spot on. Then she described me. And I have to tell you, in her description of me, it was 100% accurate, and I felt proud. She said, I'm confrontational. And it's yes, that's exactly who I am. I'm not going to let you play in my face. And she said, she's seen me fight. I mean physical, get down, dirty, grimy, that cartoon Cloud where you just see fists and feet kind of fight. And she said there would be times I'd be praying for you to stay down. Just stay down. She said, but you wouldn't. And I was like, that's who I am. Nope, not today. I'm not afraid of losing a fight. You're going to know you were in a fight when you come to me with some silliness. And, when I say pack a lunch, that's exactly what I mean. You're not going to play me for stupid. You're not going to take advantage of me. You're not going to take advantage of anybody that I love or care about. And pack a lunch. Because I'm calling it out, and I'll stand flat-footed on it. All this being said, as I woke up in the middle of the night last night, I woke up to the sound of a post on my social media on my phone. And I looked at the post, and my prayers go out to this particular sister. Somebody posted it on her behalf. She was already raising 3 of her nieces. And this woman, this relatively young woman, got a call from the Department of Human Services asking her to come pick up the other 2 children. If there's any way she could come get the other 2 children. These are her sister's kids. And she showed videos of these babies. The 2-year-old looked like she had been in a fight. She had 2 black eyes, She had an abrasion on her chin that was fresh. She had crusted over wounds on her ankle, on her back. There wasn't a part of that baby's body that did not have a bruise. And they left that baby in the house. The Department of Human Services left that baby in the house with somebody watching the house till the woman came, because they had to rush the 3-year-old to the hospital. The 3-year-old had a severe head trauma. She had to have brain surgery. She had 2 broken ribs. She had a GI tube placed because either the mother beat her or someone that lives in that house beat those children severely. And the woman who posted the video posed the question of, when are we all going to get together to go find this mama? That was a disturbing video. It's just, so I'm going to put a trigger warning on this video. That was a disturbing video, but I'm glad those babies are safe now. The woman who has custody of these kids was not prepared to care for 5 children, but I'm grateful that she stepped up. I'm glad to hear that those babies are safe. Now, for those of you who really know me on a personal level, know that I had a partner for 14 years who passed because of some pancreatic issues. Her children are now grown. But they're still very much a part of my life. I don't have any biological children of my own, but those babies, the oldest child now has her own children. She's married with children and living a pretty comfortable life. The youngest has had some serious health issues throughout her life, and multiple surgeries and whatnot. But I am in touch. I'm glad that she's grown and living independently, but I am in touch. For those of you who don't have kids, it doesn't mean you can't step up. For those of you who have never seen or envisioned yourself with children, know that there may be a time that you get called into service because of a need. Show up as your best self. Amen.